Happy Monday, and welcome back to the LordanARTS channel. I'm John Lordan. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here today. Case Cracked is the show where we look into a mystery, and what are the critical pieces that help solve that mystery. Today's episode is called Dream About the Future. Tyrone Hassel III was no stranger to success. Born to Tyrone Hassel Jr. and LaShonda Jones in Benton Harbor, Michigan on August 23, 1995, Tyrone was active and excelled in school. He was a member of the Tigers Marching Band in high school, Junior ROTC, and the Kappa League. According to its website, the Kappa League, quote, was designed to help young men grow, receive, and develop their leadership talents in every phase of human endeavor. Membership was open to male students from the 10th grade through the 12th. During his 2 years with the group, Tyrone was their treasurer. While he was in his junior year of high school, he earned an honor scholarship to Grand Valley State University in Allendale, which allowed him to take college classes while he was still in high school. He was able to graduate high school in 2013 with honors and continued his studies in mechanical engineering at Grand Valley. During his second year at college, he decided to join the Army. He received multiple honors for his service, including the Army Achievement Medal and the German Army Proficiency Badge. He went on to complete a 9-month deployment in South Korea, where he met his wife, Specialist Kamaya Martin, who was also serving in the Army. They soon had a son, Tyrone Hassel IV. The couple was married on May 17, 2017, and October 31st, at only 23 years old, Tyrone was promoted to sergeant. On New Year's Eve of 2018, Tyrone and Kamaya were back in Michigan, visiting his family with their now 1-year-old son. While Kamaya stayed at his father's house, Tyrone attended a dinner at a relative's home across the street. Around 11 p.m., Tyrone made a plate of food for his wife and left the house to walk over to his father's. 10 minutes later, multiple gunshots rang out. A 911 call was received from Kamaya, tearfully exclaiming, "My husband was shot." She then called his father, Tyrone Jr., who left his relative's house and quickly ran across the street. He demanded to know what had happened and was told by police that his son had been shot multiple times, one of those shots to the head. Tyrone Jr. couldn't understand how this had happened. His son was just taking his wife a plate of food. After being treated at the scene, paramedics took Tyrone to Spectrum Lakeland Hospital, where, shortly afterward, he would be pronounced dead. Immediately, police and Army investigators were on the case. Shell casings were found at the scene, and while leads in the community were looked into, some focus was also put onto the Hassel family itself. Kamaya stated that Tyrone had just walked out of his father's door after bringing her the plate of food when she heard the gunshots. When she ran out and found her husband, she said she saw no one but him. She didn't know anyone that would even want Tyrone dead. While on the surface, everything seemed fine in their marriage, but once investigators began to scratch that surface, cracks would appear. There were rumors that Kamaya was having an affair with someone she and her husband both knew, a man named Jeremy Cuellar. Both had served with Cuellar since their stint in South Korea, and Cuellar was also a married man. Interviews with fellow soldiers showed that at least 2 of them knew about a plot to kill Tyrone. They claim that Kamaya told Cuellar after her husband was dead, he would be the father of Tyrone IV, as well as 5 other children she had promised that they would have together. The plan was for the whole family to live off of the $400,000 insurance policy for Tyrone's death. Neither witness thought to report those conversations that they had with Cuellar to the authorities. Another witness was a woman that Cuellar was having an affair with. She claimed that when he talked about the murder plot, she said to him, "That's very dumb on y'all's part," but he said, "This is the way it's going to be. We are going to carry out the plan." She also failed to notify the authorities in advance. On January 11, 2019, Kamaya was brought in for questioning. She claimed to have no knowledge of Tyrone's murder and would willingly take a polygraph test to prove it. When the polygraph test was administered, she failed it. When she was confronted with that failure, she began to open up to investigators. Kamaya admitted that she and Cuellar had planned Tyrone's death. She claimed that they had started a relationship and wanted to be together to start their own family. Divorce wasn't an option. If she divorced Tyrone, she would no longer be eligible to receive the $400,000 life insurance policy payout. Using Snapchat, the two worked out their plan to kill Tyrone. Messages on this app are temporary, and the two felt that they were safe making their plans using it. However, while the program does wipe the conversations from the app and servers itself, it leaves traces in the memory on the actual phone. With little effort, a forensic scan revealed those messages. Confessions from both Kamaya and Kular, along with taped jailhouse telephone calls, told the rest of the story. Kular stated that Kamaya manipulated him into believing the only way to be with her was to kill Tyrone. "My mind was twisted," he said. "I thought I had to do that in order for me to have a family with her because I wanted kids." The night of the murder, Kular parked his car at an abandoned house near the Hassel home. Kamaya kept him updated on Tyrone's whereabouts using Snapchat. When Kular hesitated, Kamaya goaded him on, saying she didn't think he really wanted to be with her. When Tyrone was finally alone outside, Kular approached and shot him, then ran back to his car and left the scene. 2 weeks after his death, on January 12th, 22-year-old Kamaya Hassel and 24-year-old Jeremy Kular were arrested and charged with Tyrone's murder. Kular agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder if he was allowed to give his confession directly to Tyrone's father, which he did.
Yo,
In court, you was trying to say something.
oh, this is Mr. Hassel Jr.
Yeah,
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. Under the circumstances.
Um, honestly, uh, I'm very sorry. You know, I know that is not even enough. But honestly, I was blind. Like I was blinded. You know, I thought that was love. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real with you. Like I'm truly sorry.
Well, man, I appreciate you talking. I appreciate your remorse. She ain't showed no remorse at all. You know what I mean? So, at least you did speak to me. I ain't seen my grandson since the incident. I can't even pick up the phone, and I feel like I can't even call them. Like I don't even know who I was dealing with. True enough, you killed my son, but I don't think. I know I'm looking at somebody that had a twisted mind at one point, but I don't. I look at you, man. I don't think you was a bad guy to hang out with. You know what I mean? Um, you seem like a good cat, and I hate the situation had to happen. Especially, I hate it had to happen to my son. I'm never gonna. The only thing I could do is visit him in the grave. But I did want to hear what you had to say, and I guess I'll see you at sentencing.
You know, but I really hope you can forgive me. You know what I'm saying? For real. You know, I would like for you to still visit me.
Well, I'm gonna have to do what you're doing. I'm gonna have to talk to God and work on that. But I'm gonna keep an open mind.
During the 2 weeks that the investigation took place, Kamaya had stayed with Tyrone's family and took their charity and comfort. The family was horrified when they found out that they had been harboring one of their son's murderers. Tyrone Jr. told WSBT TV, "I spent 2 weeks with this person. After she killed my son, I grieved for her more than I grieved for myself because I saw a woman that lost her husband. She deceived us all. I thought she was completely different." Kular's plea agreement was accepted, and he was sentenced to 90 years in prison, and he'll be eligible for parole once he has served at least 65 of those years. In his statement to the court, he apologized to the Hassel family and the Army, who he said was the best thing that had ever happened to him. He stated, "What she was telling me, I opened up to her and she played on it. I was a fool for trusting her." Kamaya pleaded not guilty and didn't take the stand in her own defense. She was found guilty of her husband's murder and sentenced to life in prison in August of 2019. Tyrone's mother, LaShonda Jones, told the court that she now listens to her son's voice in video recordings for comfort. She had very strong words for Kamaya in her statement to the court. I want you to spend every day suffering behind bars for the rest of your life. And I hope every time you close your eyes, my son taps you on the shoulders and smiles, she said. Tyrone was a devoted father, and the Hassel family plans to keep up the relationship with Kamaya's family in Georgia, who have full custody of the boy. To remember Tyrone, they ask that everyone live by his favorite quote: laugh at the past, live today, and dream about the future. Case cracked. I would like to thank WNDU.com, lawandcrime.com, robinsbrothersfuneralhome.com, AETV, MLive.com, NBC News, softrep.com, nationalkappa.league.org, and heavy.com for information contributing to today's story. Of course, the biggest thank you goes to Christy Arnhart for researching and writing it up, and here she is now to discuss it with us. Christy, there's so many things that upset me about this case. The first of which is, this is another one of those situations, I feel like I've been saying the same thing for about the past 3 weeks, where we have people living in some type of bizarre, twisted fantasy world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was going on in their heads with this? All we got to do is kill this person, and then we can go be happy together, and we're going to have all this extra money. I mean, it's like, it's really, it's heartbreaking to me in a way, because it makes me question humanity. Like, really?
Yeah.
You know, like having a thought like that is one thing. Putting it into action, carrying it that far, I just, it's really insane. And to the point where, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of upset that we have people that heard about this plan and didn't contact the authorities and say,
no, nobody around him helped him.
And especially within a military setup like that. Like, I would hope that someone would say, you know what, I better talk to a commanding officer about this. But I think that's part of that same element. It sounds like such a dopey fantasy that it's not something that is actual. It's not a reality. But
no,
we heard the quote from his other mistress that he was being very direct, that was the plan and that's what was going to happen. Yeah, it's insane.
No, I don't have words. I mean, Tyrone was such a person. He had so much going for him and for the world. It just makes me sick when things like this happen.
Yeah, and then to take him away from his son too. I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, in a way, the murderers actually wound up helping to bring justice to him.
How'd that happen?
Well, if the couple had refused to give their phones to police, they would have had to have gotten a subpoena or a search warrant to get into them.
Okay.
These guys literally handed their cell phones and passwords over, and it would have been a completely different case otherwise.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay. So yeah, they were trusting Snapchat effectively. They were trusting that the app was really deleting all this stuff. They're like, go ahead, search my phone.
Yeah, they thought the gods of Snapchat had their back.
Yeah. I actually looked into it a bit because I don't use Snapchat. I just haven't had a need for it. And from what I understand, you can configure some of the settings, but in essence, in general, the messages are actually removed within 24 hours after they've been read. And I think they're actually removed from their servers as part of that. That's part of this, you can have safe conversations here. They will stay for up to 30 days if they haven't been read. But then as soon as they get read, that 24-hour timer starts and it knocks them out. So obviously they did need to search the phone's memory to have all that communication. Kind of weird that Snapchat didn't think about that from the phone side and have some type of like information scrambler. Because, there's ways that you can always recover things from hard drives. Unless it gets overwritten by other data. Some apps are developed in ways where they understand that. So they'll use like a certain block of data and then they'll literally rewrite a bunch of garbage over it so that you can't go back there later and say, okay, we can recover this. But apparently they don't have that on Snapchat. So,
well, and thank goodness.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, absolutely a good thing for this case. And even for general use, like if you're worried about having conversations with people and you don't want someone in your life to be able to pick up your phone and see it, like for the general point of what this feature is, I think they've got it safe enough. Like, they're not doing military communication or something like that over Snapchat, I hope. But have there been any other developments with this case? Any follow-up?
Well, there have. In July of 2020, Kular attempted to withdraw his guilty plea, appealing to the Michigan Court of Appeals and then to the Michigan Supreme Court.
Mm.
Now, the latter denied his request in August of 2021.
It's super weird to me that he would do that after going through this whole thing about wanting to confess directly to Tyrone's father. Like, I kind of thought he was doing that to, like, be a man, step up, do the right thing, and then later to just be like, no, I want to take it back. That's...
Well, listen to this. Tyrone Jr. told ABC 57, Jeremy Kular entered the guilty plea the first time. It made me feel like he wanted to clear his conscience, but withdrawing, it's like a slap to the face.
Yeah.
And that's not all of it. There is more. Evidently, since then, Kamaya Hassel has also petitioned for a new trial. She's claiming she was a victim of battered woman syndrome, but her late husband's father, he denies it. He says that she was never beat.
Oh, so she's claiming that her husband Tyrone was abusing her, and that's why she staged this whole thing.
Oh, yes. It's funny how none of that came up before.
Yeah. And it's funny how we have all these pieces of information coming from other people that heard about this plan, and then we've got this life insurance policy and all this stuff. It's
like, guys, just stop. You look bad enough as it is. Just stop.
Yeah. And how does that not come up in her initial trial? Like, if that's a real thing, like, isn't that part of your defense? Take the stand. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that we'll see that go very far, but...
Mm-mm.
Well, Chrissy, thank you so much for all your help on today's episode. We really appreciate all your hard work, and I've got some other people to thank right now. Thank you, PayPal supporters Brandy Fry, Sigrid E. O'Hearn, and Angela Welch Sola. Since 2015, we have always run limited ads here for the benefit of the viewers and the families that we're trying to help. Obviously, we can't do that without support. If you'd like to help, please visit LordanARTS.com. There, you can sign up for Patreon, sign up for PayPal, buy merchandise, or even just buy us a coffee like Ann Peters recently did. We really appreciate your support on our mission to run as few ads as possible. Remember, you can get another LordanARTS story every week on the Seriously Mysterious podcast. A new episode is coming tomorrow and every Tuesday after that. Visit SeriouslyMysterious.com and subscribe on your favorite podcatchers. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe below and hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload. Also, if you'd like to catch one of our weekly Secret Studio live shows, be sure to check the description box below for our new channel link, LordanARTS Studio 2. And of course, I'll be back with a new unsolved mystery for you on Friday, right here on the LordanARTS channel.